I would now like to welcome Amarji Lochanji. Dr. Amarji Lochan is an associate professor in ancient Indian history and culture in Shivaji College, University of Delhi. He is on the board of many organizations, notable among them on the IAHR and IASS. He is also visiting professor, School of Asian Studies, University College, Cork, Ireland, and visiting professor, Research Institute of Languages and Cultures of Asia, Mahidol University, Thailand. His PhD thesis was named India and Thailand, a study in acculturation. He is the editor of 3 international journals or newsletters and has lectured and presented over 60 research papers on Indian culture and religion-related issues. I would now like to welcome Amarji Lochanji to kindly take the chair. I would now like to welcome our next presenter, Sunil MV. Sunil Upasana is a writer and a blogger with a keen interest in philology. He primarily writes in his native tongue, Malayalam, and has authored 3 books to date. One, a collection of short stories, the second, an autobiography, and the third, a philosophy book which introduces Indian philosophy for a beginner. His philosophy articles have been published in various weeklies in Kerala. Holder of a technical degree with a diploma in computer hardware maintenance, he is now pursuing his BA in philology from IGNOU. After a stint in various IT companies like HCL Infosystems, he is now a freelancer living in Bangalore.
Namaste. At the outset of this paper presentation, I wish to express my thanks to IJNCA and Infinity Foundation team for giving me this opportunity to present my paper. I also extend my sincere thanks to Shalini, who has edited the contents of my paper. A few details about me. I am Sunil, writing with the pen name Sunil Upasana. So far, 3 books of mine have been published. It is in literature and philosophy area. And my education is in technical stream, information technology. I work and live in Bangalore. And I have 45% hearing issue. During question and answer section, you may need to write. Okay. Contents of my paper I shall explain as the discussion progresses. Purvabharsha. My paper title is The Upanishads, the source of Buddha's teachings. I wrote this paper to refute 2 major arguments of Mr. Pollock, which he has furnished in his book named The Language of the Gods in the World of Man. First argument is Buddha's enlightenment doctrine cancelled the core conception of the Upanishad thought. Second argument is Buddhists sought fundamentally to reject the authority of Vedas. Since I have some good knowledge in Hindu and Buddhist philosophies, I found mistakes in this argument, and I will strive to prove my points. Now to the paper. Introduction. Before refuting the arguments, I want to explain the relation between Praditya Samudpada doctrine of Sri Buddha and with the Upanishads. There are relation between them. The most important doctrine of Buddha is Praditya Samudpada, because enlightenment doctrine depends on Praditya Samudpada doctrine. Another name of Praditya Samudpada doctrine is theory of relativity or theory of dependent originalization. It states that from the existing causes, effects comes forth, and in next turn, effects becomes the causes to give birth to new effects. This cycle continuously, endlessly. The nutshell of this theory is that everything in the experimental world are continuously changing. And what it changes, that it did not have essence. If a thing depends on another thing, then the first thing cannot have independent existence. They have only relative existence. Since everything in the experimental world depends on each other, then everything in the experimental world has no ultimate existence, but they have only relative existence. This theory of relativity is the kernel of Buddha's teachings. And this theory has a relation with the Upanishad doctrine of Madhuvidya. Madhuvidya doctrine is taught by sage Daityaj. We can find it in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 2nd chapter, 5th section. I shall read out first sloka of Madhuvidya. The earth is like honey to all beings, and all beings are like honey to this earth. The same with the shining immortal being who is in this earth, and the shining immortal corporeal being in the body. These four are but this self. This self-knowledge is the means of immortality. This underlying unity is Brahman. This knowledge of Brahman is the means of becoming all. There are similar slokas in which water, fire, air, sun, moon, they are equated to honey to all beings. It is not easy to comprehend the idea of Madhuvidya. Shankaracharya says that Shankara Bhashya, because there is mutual helpfulness among the parts of the universe, including the earth, and because it is common experience that those things which are mutually helpful spring from the same cause, are of the same genus and dissolve into the same thing. Therefore, this universe consisting of the earth, etc., on account of mutual helpfulness among its parts, must be like that. The first portion indicates that everything in the experimental world are in the state of mutual helpfulness. Since they are in mutual helpfulness, they are interconnected. What are interconnected? They have only dependent existence. That is, their existence is only relative, not ultimate. So, the idea of Madhuvidya is experimental world in a state of mutual helpfulness. In such a scenario, Buddha's Praditya Samutpada doctrine can be derived from Upanishads. It is not Buddha who coined this first. From Chandogya Upanishad, there is conversation between Shvatagadu and his father Aruni. Their gold and gold ornaments are equated to cause and effects. This Praditya Samutpada doctrine can also be derived from that. And Samkhya is pre-Buddhistic. Of course, there is a Sadgayavada, cause effect theory also. Though there are some differences, of course, Praditya Samutpada is posterior to these theories. So next, the core of my paper, Enlightenment doctrine. Enlightenment doctrine is derived from Praditya Samutpada. Everything in the experimental world changes continuously. So a permanent entity like man cannot exist in the experimental world. That is the core of Enlightenment theory. And Buddha rejected Atman, but which Atman? This question is important because there were three Atman concepts in ancient India. The first is Jivatman of Advaita Vedanta, and the second is Atman concept of Nyaya Vaisheshika, and the third Paramatman or Brahman concept of Upanishad. I will show that in all these three Atman concepts, Buddha and Upanishad are in same side, same opinion. At first, Jivatman concept. Jiva, according to Upanishads, from the Advaita point of view, there is one important thing. My whole paper is based on Advaita point of view, not from Dvaita viewpoint. According to Upanishads, from the Advaita point of view, Jivanman is the conditioned Brahma. Brahman limited by body characteristics, embodied Atman. Reflection of it can also be called as a reflection of Brahman on the avidya of an individual. Upanishad says that Jivanman is not ultimately real, but people who are in Vyavaharya level, they consider Jivanman as ultimate. But when they get Brahmavidya, they will avoid this, they will relinquish this thought that Jivanman is real. And regarding Buddha have also approved that people may feel something like an Atman inside them. But this thought is wrong. This thought arises as the result of combined operation of five skandhas. Five skandhas of Buddhism are material form, sensations, perception, volition, and consciousness. Their combined operation give birth to Atman concept. A bhikshu who understands the real meaning of Four Noble Truth will relinquish this Atman thought. So, there in the Vyavaharya level, Buddha and Upanishads are in same side. A Jivatman or any such equivalent concept does not have ultimate existence. Next, the Nyaya Avaisheshika position. According to Nyaya, there are innumerable Atman in this universe. An Atman is inside us, inside everyone, and it is eternal by itself. Every Atman is independent of each other. They enjoy Sukha, Dukkha, and so on. After attaining moksha, they continue to remain independent, but in a supreme blissful state. This Atman concept is not in the Upanishads from the Advaita viewpoint. And Buddha of course rejected this Atman because in experimental level this Atman is permanent in nature. So Buddha rejected it. Next, Paramatman concept of Upanishad. Regarding this, Upanishad stand is very clear. Brahman is one without a second. Brahman is the ultimate reality. It is beyond the reach of senses. It is beyond we cannot comprehensible by logic. It is realizable through Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This is the Upanishadic position about Brahma. And regarding Buddha, it is some very peculiar. Buddha proved the existence of an ultimate reality. If there is no ultimate reality, then bhikshus will continue to remain in the loop of samsara. That is not possible. Buddha clearly says that bhikshus can escape from samsara. Samsara is in the higher level. So where they can escape? They can escape to a state that is above samsara. That itself is the ultimate reality. Nirvana is the ultimate reality. Buddha have approved the existence of an ultimate reality in some sutras. Such one is Udana, the solemn utterance of Buddha. In Udana, Buddha says that there is, O bhikshus, an unborn, unoriginated, uncreated, unformed. Where they are not, O bhikshus, this unborn, unoriginated, uncreated, unformed, there would be no escape from the world of born, originated, created, formed. This is one. And in the second occasion, Buddha says in Brahmajwala Sutta that he achieved a state which is profound, difficult to realize, hard to understand, tranquilizing, sweet, not to be grasped by mere logic, subtle, comprehensible only by the wise. This comments of course indicates the existence of an ultimate reality. These things are not in the level of samsara. Buddha called this ultimate reality as Nirvana. Upanishad called it as Brahma. When we hear that Buddha rejected Atman, we must understand that Buddha rejected Atman in the Vyavaharya level, not in the ultimate level. If there is no ultimate reality, then bhikshus cannot escape from the loop of samsara. The things being so, prologue statements that Buddha's enlightenment doctrine cancelled the core conception of Upanishad thought is wrong. Next, the second argument, Buddha's rejection of the Vedas. That this argument is partially true, only partially true. There are certain sutras which indicates that Buddha existed, Buddha proved the validity of uncorrupted original Vedas. There is one sutra named Brahmana Dhammika Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha says that Brahmins corrupted the original Vedas by inserting sacrificial hymns. So he rejected it. This indicates that there is two versions of Vedas. One uncorrupted original Vedas, the second is corrupted Vedas. So I shall give a nutshell of an idea explained in the Brahmana Dhammika Sutta. Brahmana Dhammika Sutta says that in ancient times Brahmins lived austerely with self-restraint. They had no cattle, gold or too much grain. Their wealth was Vedic lore and they guarded it very well. They never killed cattle in sacrifices. At that time Brahmins were unbeaten and inviolable. Then gradually corruption crept in. Brahmins saw the splendor and wealth of kings and craved for the same. They composed some Vedic hymns themselves, approached the kings and persuaded them to do sacrifices, which assured them more wealth and prosperity. In such sacrifices, thousands of cattle were killed. This trait continued and thus Brahmins lost their ancient glory. This is the core meaning of Brahmana Dhammika Sutta. It is a lengthy sutta. Buddha's opinion about Brahmins and the authority of Vedas can be derived from Brahmana Dhammika Sutta. What is implied in the sutta is that in ancient times, Brahmins possessed the uncorrupted original version of the Vedas. So Vedas must have authority then. When somebody says that Buddha rejected the authority of Vedas, he must give a complete picture of the scene. This is my points. And I am concluding a thorough philosophical research between Buddha's teachings and Vedic tradition, especially the Upanishads, will establish that there is not much difference between them. Thus, whoever approves Buddha's teachings and sutras must also approve Vedic tradition as well. I finished. Thank you.